Hi, I'm Jay Shaffer, and today I want to show you how to balance the Canon 5D Mark II onto the Jaybilizer HDSLR camera stabilizer, the new improved Jaybilizer HDSLR. Okay, so when you get your Jaybilizer, it'll look something like this. And basically we have approximately 28 counterweight washers. Okay, and these counterweight washers are basically kind of idealized for a Canon 5D Mark II basic setup. And the camera we'll be using today has the 24-105 zoom on it. And this is a lens that's just a bit too heavy actually to use with the Jaybilizer, but we'll be able to balance this on here. But that's about the maximum weight lens that you'll want to use with the Jaybilizer HDSLR. In fact, you usually want to go ahead and try to use something that's a wide, short prime lens, something like a 28 or something that has a fairly fast lens also. And because when you're using Jaybilizer and you're doing these tracking shots, the classic stabilizer shots, is that you want to be usually pretty wide angle to cut down any vibration or movement as much as possible. So anyway, the very first thing that you want to do with your Jaybilizer HDSLR is remove the camera quick release plate, and you'll also want to remove the paper strip and the 3/8" camera fixing screw. Unless you're using a camera which uses a 3/8" fixing screw. But most DSLRs use the 1/4 20". Okay, so what we want to do is we want to go ahead and we're going to mount the Canon 5D Mark II. And I'm going to mount the quick release plate. And I'm going to mount it fairly close to the rear of the camera release plate. The reason that I move it toward the rear of the camera release plate is because in a 35mm camera, the lens is usually heavier than the body. Okay, so I've got my camera on the quick release plate. I can come over here to my Jaybilizer, and you'll notice that once I've got the quick release plate removed, is that we have 3 screws that are here that are visible. And the center screw is our side-to-side locking screw. Okay, so we want to loosen this off just about a 1/4 turn here, just so that we're loosening the lock here. And then I'm going to come back to the back where we have the thumb screw and loosen the thumb screw on the back for my side-to-side adjustment. And now my dovetail plate should move freely from left to right. Lots of left to right action here. Okay, once I've loosened the left to right adjustment, I'll go ahead and slide my 5D Mark II onto the Jaybilizer. Did you get that? Okay. Now I'm going to take the Jaybilizer and I'm going to do my front to back balance adjustment, and so I'm going to go ahead and kind of get an approximate front to back balance, and then I'm going to tighten down the front to back balance adjust screw. So once I have it just kind of roughed in from front to back balance, you'll see that the very first time I put it on here initially is that the camera is front heavy, and it's also very heavy on this side of the camera. So what we want to do is we want to move the plate so that we compensate for the battery. We're moving the plate this way to compensate for the batteries. I'm going to take my thumb screw, make sure that's loosened up, and I'm going to move this almost all the way over here. And then I'm going to go ahead and tighten this thumb screw down, finger tight. I'm going to pick up the Canon again. Then I'll look at it for side-to-side balance. So at this point, we have a kind of a good left-to-right balance, and you'll notice that we're still lens heavy. So now I can go loosen the quick release plate a little bit, move it slightly to the rear, and test it again. Okay, so once I've got where it's level lens front and back, and if we look at it from the front, we're also level sideways. Then we're ready to go ahead and look at the counterweighting. Okay, make sure that you have all your screws tight here. And then if we take the camera and we take the Jaybilizer and we put it at a 90-degree angle and we release it, it should take about a half second to 1 second to reach vertical. Okay, so this is about right for Canon 5D, the initial weights that come with it. And this lens is the 24-105 zoom lens. And this is not one of the lenses that I would normally recommend. I would recommend a short, wide prime lens, which makes doing these Jaybilizer shots a lot easier. And then I'm going to come over here and I'm going to just fine-tune all my adjustments. I'm going to look really hard at the left to right balance. And I can see that it's still, now I'm just a little bit heavy on the left side from my point of view. So I'm just going to bring this back just a millimeter or two, tighten down my thumb screw, check it again. And now I'm going to go ahead and check this by moving the camera from side to side, and it shouldn't be penduluming or porpoising. So we're pretty close there. And so now that I've got that pretty close into left to right and front to back, I'm going to remember where I was front to back. And you can mark it with a white marker if you want. I'm going to remove the quick release plate, and I'm going to tighten down my locking screw. And then I'll go ahead and place the Canon 5D back on there about where I had my front to back balance at before, and that's pretty good. And so that's how you balance a Canon 5D Mark II on the Jaybilizer HDSLR camera stabilizer.